Hey guys, in this video we are getting started with Unit 5, which is all about quadratics. And I'm going to warn you now, this is a long unit, and it's the unit where I think Algebra 2 starts getting difficult. It's going to take a little more work on your end. You're going to have to make sure you complete your assignments, because if you're not completing them and you're not asking questions, especially this year with COVID, it's going to be challenging, and you are having to do some learning on your own as it is, and so you've got to keep up with things. I'm going to try to keep it, I'm going to try to make it not as difficult as I can, but it is going to be. Now, the first few lessons, you're going to be like, what in the world is she talking about? This is pretty easy. And yes, the first couple of lessons is pretty basic, pretty quick, but as we inch on through the unit, which there's like 10 or 11 lessons in, it's going to get a little more difficult for you. So, a quadratic is anything that has an x squared, and there's nothing bigger than squared. Like, there's not an x cubed, not an x to the fourth. The highest exponent is a 2, and that makes it a quadratic. And a quadratic, when we graph it, we have something called the parabola, which looks, well, maybe like this. That is called a parabola. And the vertex is the highest or lowest point on a parabola. And it depends on how it's facing. Notice these arrows are pointing up, so the vertex is a lower point. It's there on the bottom. If the parabola points up, so like this, then the vertex is what we would call a minimum, because it's at the bottom. It's a minimum. It's the lowest point. If the parabola points down, so the arrows point down like this time the vertex is at the top, so it's what we would call a maximum. Then there's something called an axis of symmetry. And an axis of symmetry is just a line that divides a parabola into two congruent parts. And this line passes through the vertex. And so let's just sketch out a parabola here. So the axis of symmetry is this line right here. If that were to be a really good parabola, not just a quick sketch, if I were to fold my paper right down that line, each side of the parabola would completely overlap each other. And so parabolas are perfectly symmetrical. That's why it's called the axis of symmetry. And when we write that line, it's always, we put x equals, you have to put x equals, and then it's some number. And whatever number, that's the x value of the vertex. All right, so just a few quick examples. First off, the vertex is the point 1, -4. And so the axis of symmetry is this line. That's where it would cut in half. It always cuts in half at the vertex. So we write x equals 1. That's the line, x equals 1. Number 2. The vertex is -3, -1. So the axis of symmetry is x equals -3. That's right here, that line. Number 3. Try number 3 on your own. So the vertex is 0, 5. And so the axis of symmetry, kind of hard to see, is x equals 0. And that's it. Probably the shortest video of all of them, which is why you're going to be watching another video tomorrow. There's not a separate assignment that goes with this because it's so basic, so simple. And then the assignment after 5.2 might have a few questions from this. But tomorrow, your next assignment will also be to watch the next video. And if you have any questions on this, if there's something you didn't understand, then let me know. Thank you. Have a great day.